Hey everyone, it's Daniel with VintageMagic.com, and thanks again for watching this video about fake Magic the Gathering cards. This video is actually part 2 of the video that I posted. It will be in the link below. And I asked you guys to tell me which cards out of these assortment of cards are fake. Now, I wanted to do this video because I wanted to show you guys just from a perspective of glance, meaning, a video, and if I scan these, it would, they would come up actually real. And for those of you who have figured out that the cards are actually real cards in the front, but some of them are actually fake in the back, or rebacked, then you have got it right. So what that means is that the cards are actually real cards that are not fake, but they are rebacked. That was the trick. Not all the cards though, so let me explain, and I'll go through that here shortly. That is why if I scan these cards and on video, for some of you guys were like, well, I don't know. They look pretty good. That's right, because they are all Magic the Gathering fronts. They're real Magic the Gathering fronts. So what you have here is there are collector edition cards or international edition cards. And for those of you who don't know what that is that in 1994, they produced a collector's edition set of the beta set, essentially, and it was like $49.99 or something, and you could buy it, and you get all of the cards, from the Magic the Gathering set, but they were square corner, and they were also gold backs. And there were 2 version prints. There were collector's edition and international edition. Now, to be clear, the international edition was printed 5,000 of them, approximately, or exactly 5,000, and the collector's edition were printed 10,000. But they look exactly the same, except the fact that the back says international edition or collector's edition. That's the only difference, and also on the box. All right, so let's figure out and explain why they're fake. So for those of you who guessed right, the following cards are real and the following cards are fake. You ready? The Faye Jones Stasis is real. The Mox Sapphire Beta is fake. Or not fake, but rebacked. Mox Emerald is rebacked. The Mox Pearl is rebacked. Mox Ruby is rebacked. The Taiga, signed by Rob Alexander, which is a real signature, is actually a rebacked. Wow. The Diamond Valley is real. The Word of Command is rebacked. Rebacked. Word of Command. Holy moly. Last but not least, Mox Jet rebacked. So, those of you who got it right realize that, hey, it's not because they're fake, but they're rebacked. And the only ones that are not rebacked are the Stasis and the Diamond Valley. All the rest of the cards are rebacked. All right, what are reback cards? Now, this is really odd because, well, first off, why would someone reback Magic the Gathering cards, especially vintage cards? Well, it's all about the money. And some people reback them as proxies. And proxies are basically a nice way of saying playtest cards, but people try to resell proxies as real cards, and it's really hard to tell. And so why people reback them is because of the money. Like a Mox Sapphire Beta. If this card was a mint condition one and it was sold as a real beta, it sells for anywhere from $2,500 to $3,000. If it's rebacked, it would be it would only cost the person created them to reback them probably $150, and then they would just strip the back and put a Magic the Gathering back. And in fact, these Magic the Backs are so good, they're actually also how I know that these are Magic the Gathering reback cards is that the backs are not the original beta backs. They're a little bit let's see how to explain this. Yeah, they're all I would consider them all I believe they're real cards, but a newer set slightly, or I may be completely wrong. Like the Taiga actually looks a little bit better. Here's the Taiga. This looks like an actual older Magic Gathering back, but at the front is rebacked, or front is real collector's edition. This is the Moxes and stuff, and they look more of a newer back to me. Not like the newer backs, but like maybe a little newer earlier sets. Or I might be completely wrong. They're photocopied, but I don't know. Like, you know what? I would actually guess that they're photocopied because the Deckmaster wording is a little bit off. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to tell. Tough to tell. Very interesting. Crazy, huh? The other thing you can tell why they're rebacked is when I did the bend test. Like the Fade Jones, like for example, I'll like this. When I put it back, it'll just go back normal pretty quick. A reback like this is a little bit harder, a little bit slightly. You bend it like that, but see how it takes a little longer for it to come back, just a little bit. And you can feel it when you hold the cards. Now it doesn't do a bend crease, but I guarantee you, if I went the full way for this card, it will produce a much longer, way to. It'll take a lot longer for the paper to go back, whereas the stasis would go back almost immediately, just about. All right, so yeah, but monetarily, it's a huge thing. I mean, that this business is very difficult. I would say rebacks are probably one of the most difficult ones to figure out because these are actually played looking. So the person that created these reback cards really try to scuff up the edges. Like for example, this Mox Emerald, it's a whitening right there on the edge. And it's not perfect. So a lot of rebacks, they try to matte the surface, so they kind of sandpaper it or really play with it a lot, so all that shiny gloss goes away, and then it kind of feels matte, like a Magic card, and then you kind of feel like, oh, it's real, and that's a very dangerous thing, because the thing is, if you play with the Magic card more, actually what happens is the gloss, it gets more glossier in a way, slipperier. It's really weird, like the protective coating that's on a Magic card, this poker stock, it actually gets a little bit more slippery if you play with them enough. Now here's an interesting one, is the Taiga. It's signed by Rob Alexander. And this signature is perfect, like a real signature. So you might be asking yourself, why did Rob Alexander sign a reback card? Here's the reason why. Because artists are not authenticators. They could tell from obvious fakes, but for rebacks, it's very, very difficult to tell the difference. So in this particular case, you as a buyer might be thinking, oh, the Taiga is real because it's signed by Rob Alexander. Therefore, it has to be real. That is not true. Watch out, guys. Always look at the surface, the edges, the back, the print quality. Compare with real Magic card. Do the light test. Now, I did the light test. This is very interesting. Another light test. I did a light test for you guys in that other video. Go back to it. You will notice I did it pretty fast. But the Diamond Valley and the Stasis are real. The other ones are fake, are rebacked. You'll notice that the light does go through relatively. But you'll notice that these two cards, the light actually goes through in a different color. It's more of a whitish color not so pure yellow as in these colors. So a real Magic card does not have a yellowish back, a yellowish light shining through, an orange shining through. You'll notice the other two are a little bit brighter white-ish. I wouldn't say it's pure white, but it's not like orange and yellow that's obvious on these cards. Another interesting reback is, why the hell would you want to reback a Word of Frickin' Command? And this reback, these cards that were found were from a larger collection, like back in the early days of Magic. Who in the right mind would want to reback a Word of Command? I don't know. Go figure. A card like this back in the day isn't worth a ton more, isn't worth rebacking. But maybe they just wanted those corners, the beta kind of corner quarters. Now, I don't know if you see this, but this is like the shine. This is the glossy collector's edition feel. And it's pretty obvious to me. This is the Stasis. Now, you can see a shine to it, but its finish, its feel and stuff is not super glossy. It's more matte. That's how you tell the difference. Another thing you can also tell is the thing I noticed on them is that when the cards are glued back together, like on a reback card, it tends to have kind of like a warping on the surface if the glue didn't dry perfectly. So a few of these in the edges and stuff, I can tell visibly looking at it that it's almost like glue that is kind of warping, stuck in together. It's kind of slight, but it's hard to tell on a camera, but definitely more visible in person. All right, guys, so what do you guys think? What do you guys think about all this stuff? Do you guys think it's horrible for Magic? Do you like it? I don't know why you would like it, but it's very hard to tell, isn't it? I want to share with you guys this because I think it's really important that before you buy any Magic cards, especially vintage, old Magic cards, when they're worth like the price of a car in some ways, you need to make sure you ask a second opinion. And one of the ways you can do is you can go to our services tab of the vintagemagic.com website, and we can do an appraisal for you. There is a small fee, but at least you'll know that they're real and have the peace of mind that they are authentic. Or you can send it in for grading to PSA or Beckett, but for played cards, you don't really want to send them in. So this is an odd situation. It's an odd situation because you don't want to get it slabbed because you want to play with them, but you also want to get that second opinion that they're real. And that's really important when you're spending, the Beta Power 9 alone. I mean, if these are real beta cards right here, easily $15,000 on the high end if they're mint, at least $10,000 on the low end, right? Even with the Taiga dual land. So I would say that it's really important, you guys, to get a second opinion. All right, guys, it's Daniel with vintagemagic.com. By the way, I hope you guys had a good Memorial Day. It was a long weekend. Hope you had some good time with your family. Again, GP Las Vegas 2017. We are going to be there. I will do some free appraisals if I have time, so bring your Magic cards. If you have any cards that are not authentic in your eyes, bring them. I will take a look at them and tell you what I think. If you're looking for high-end graded cards, ungraded cards, pretty much my plan for this show is to bring old school cards and vintage power and legacy duels. Not going to focus on any other new cards for legacy or vintage. Stuff like Tangle Wire or Wasteland or any of those cards. I'm not bringing those cards because I think there's going to be so much of that out of the 33 plus vendors at the show. It's not something we're going to compete after. I want to focus on our strong suit, which is the older cards at the show. And remember, guys, Rudy from Alpha Investments is going to be at the show assisting us along with my friend Jeremy, who's been to other Grand Prix with me from Minnesota. Is a good friend of mine for over a decade plus. And we're all excited to meet all you guys. Come out there with all your old cards. Share with us, your story of collecting, investing in Magic, buying, selling, trading, whatever. And we're looking forward to it. And Rudy will be helping selling the packs and specials that we have. It's listed also in the link below, the landing page. The map on there, by the way, is not the location. It's just there for a stage location. But once we get the exact date, location in the next week or so, we'll post it. Guys, make sure you watch all of the videos coming up. There's going to be tons of content of the Patreon specials. I'm going to announce the Patreon rewards. I think you guys will find it kind of interesting and fun, and great for people out there who love artist stuff, collector stuff, and investor stuff. And also make sure you watch Rudy's videos, because he's going to announce the Rudy. If you're a Rudy Patreon subscriber, a few months you would had to subscribe before May 1st. And you have to keep being a subscriber until through June. You're at Grand Prix Las Vegas only. You will receive some insane, I would say insane, Patreon rewards. And he will go over that, all the details. I believe he'll do a video around June 1st on his channel, and then we'll announce it on our videos also. So, all right, guys, thanks again. Again, these two are real. All the rest are real, but they're rebacked Magic the Gathering cards that were stripped on the back with put on Magic the Gathering card backs. And it's kind of interesting, guys. Beware before you buy older vintage cards. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye.